Arbitrum. So I want to talk about Arbitrum because fundamentally, look, it's the most used layering solution for Ethereum. And we've got to talk about Ethereum in this video because obviously what Ethereum does is completely relevant to what Arbitrum does. I think there are gains here. However, there is a certain amount of tokens that are going to continue to be unlocked, and you've got to look at if that's going to have any sort of impact on the markets. So we'll go through that in this video. Before I get into it though, guys, if you're new here and you don't know what the spreadsheet is, these are the first 26 coins I did videos about on the channel. In the videos, I bought these coins. I said, you know, I think they're going to make me good money. And if you'd have done the same, if you'd have popped just $100 into the coins when I released the videos, these are the prices you'd have got in at. If you'd have sold after 16, 17 months, these are the prices you'd have sold at. If you'd have done that for all 26, 100 into each, and then sold them after 16, 17 months, your total profit under a year and a half would have been over 123 grand. Guys, that is, well, this day and age is about half a house or close, or, you know, a house depending on where you live. But in under a year and a half. Now, I don't share the coins I'm in on YouTube anymore, but I do share them on my website, which is copymycrypto.com. If you go onto the site, you will see why there are thousands of members on the site. You'll see what they have earned since being there. You'll see what I've said in the past as well. It's all public record. You can verify it. Copymycrypto.com is where I share my entire portfolio. When I find coins that I like that are going to make me great money, I buy those coins. And I tell my members what the coin is and at what price I'm buying it and what percentage of my money I'm putting in. They can copy along exactly. There is no work for the members. The market's pulling back. If you don't have your portfolio sorted, now is actually the time to get it sorted, because sooner or later the market's going to rally again. So you buy on a dip. And if you're not happy with it, with your portfolio, you're not convinced by it, read through copymycrypto.com. Just have a look at it, because if you do, I think you'll realize that it's a service that's going to help you out. Right, Arbitrum. So I will say this. Look, I talk about, obviously, this channel is called Crypto with James. Now, I think there's a lot of people that get very excited about crypto. You know, there's a lot of money to be made in these markets, but it's worth noting, I do think there's a lot of bad that is going to come from crypto in the long run. Like, I try and explain this to people, but the CBDC, the idea of CBDCs, if people are pro that, I really do think they need to do a bit of research into, is this something I should be for? I've spoken about it a ton of times, but I just want to keep trying to put that out there, because if CBDCs are announced in the UK, as an example, I would be on the front line protesting, because it's a terrible idea for everyone, for us as people that live in the country. And if that's not sort of clocked to you yet, do a little bit of research about CBDCs and look at what the WEF have said about CBDCs. Hopefully that gives you a bit of insight. Anyway, back to this. So, Arbitrum. Arbitrum is an Ethereum layer 2 solution. Look, it's massively used. It's like one of the most used. You know, we've got Optimism as well that's used heavily. We've got Polygon and stuff. But Arbitrum was around before, the Arbitrum chain was around before the token. People were using that heavily, and then they obviously released the token. Now, look, of course, I don't need to go into too much about this. I think everyone is pretty aware of what a layering solution is. It improves the speed, improves the scalability, it improves the cost for the end user, which is you and I. And, you know, there's a reason that it's so heavily used. It's very fast, it's very reliable. They've not had any issues. The founders are Off-Chain Labs, and the founders of Off-Chain Labs are Ed Felton, Stephen Goldfeder, and Harry Kolodner, former Princeton University researchers. Ed Felton is a computer science professor at Princeton. You've got Stephen Goldfeder as a computer scientist and entrepreneur who received his PhD from Princeton. Harry Kolodner is a computer scientist and PhD candidate at Princeton. So what's the theme? Princeton. They raised $120 million in 2021 with funding led by Lightspeed Venture Partners, valuing it at $1.2 billion. Other investors included Polychain Capital, Pantera Capital, Mark Cuban, and more. I mean, what makes it unique? Look, it uses optimistic rollups. I always like this section because there's quite a lot of the cryptos are not unique anymore. Like, there's a lot of competition. Arbitrum, I suppose, is one of the better scaling, like layering solutions. But how unique is it in comparison? It's not that much. There's an upside. Any Ethereum dApp can run on Arbitrum without any code changes, but I actually think that's true on a number of chains as well. But anyway, look, plenty of protocols are available on Arbitrum. They've done very, very well. There's a lot of value locked into Arbitrum's overall ecosystem. And since launching, obviously, the airdrop was announced. That happened. Then you had... interesting that they've got this, because a lot of other cryptos don't have this stuff. So I'm curious as to why Arbitrum have been gifted this sort of info on the charts. Because a lot of others on YouTube, on CoinMarketCap don't have this. So that's quite intriguing. Anyway, it's hit an all-time high of $2.28, I think. What was it? $2.40, sorry. Obviously, we're experiencing a bit of a pullback right now. Now, look, there are 2.6 billion tokens out right now. There's meant to be 10 billion in total. Now, there is. It is worth noting. Look, there is now a monthly unlock. So I want to talk about who are the people getting this. So. Tokens allocated. So you've got investors. There's 1.75 billion tokens that went to early investors. 2.6 billion that went to team and contributors. And the unlock schedule is now began. So while the user and DAO airdrops were available immediately, all investor and team tokens are subject to a 4-year lockup, with the first unlocks happening 1 year after the token generation event, which was, so the investors and the teams are the ones that are receiving their tokens now. And then monthly unlocks for the remaining 3 years. So actually when we take a look at what the unlocks are, this matters. So 92 million per month is now being unlocked. 92.65 million Arbitrum unlocked every month. They are going to the team and the investors. Now, look, I'm not knocking any of that. Team have to, most of the team forego payment to take a token, but a lot of that team won't have really earned any money, or not a lot of money. So what are they going to do? They're probably going to sell. What are the investors, the early investors, going to do? Because what was their entry point? I think their entry point was probably a lot lower than $1 per token. So what are they going to do? They're probably going to sell, bank some profits. But you do have 92.65 million being released every month. So across, we're in May now. So you've got May, 92 million. So we're just going to round it to 100. But you've got basically 100 million coming out in May, 100 million coming out in June, 100 million coming out in July, 100 million coming out in August, September, October, November, December. So by the end of the year, another 800 million tokens have flooded the market, roughly, right? Technically not. Technically it's like, 736 million tokens or so that have flooded the market. So, circulating supply bangs up to 3.4 billion, roughly. But what happens each time that unlock happens? How many of those people are selling? Probably a decent proportion are going to sell. Got to bank something. And then all of a sudden, is there price pressure to the downside? Because there's going to be 100% some selling pressure at that time. Now, the upside for Arbitrum is, look, 400 million as a daily volume, is 4 times what the what the value of the unlock is. So maybe, that downward pressure isn't as significant, but it is going to be significant. make no mistake about it, if we are, because we're now, and we have been experiencing some sideways action since the halving, that's probably going to last another couple of weeks, or maybe the month, right? And if that does happen, the downward pressure is already there for Arbitrum. If you then add in an unlock while there's already downward pressure, that can push the price lower. This is not me critiquing, what this me is pointing out. There might be a very good entry point if you are long-term bullish on Arbitrum that's coming in a couple of weeks. Now, fundamentally, I am bullish on Arbitrum. Arbitrum is a very strong layering solution. It's kicking ass in the crypto space. There's tons of value locked into Arbitrum. It's really strong. And if Ethereum is going to do what so many of us think, which is break that $1 trillion market cap, then the layering solutions for Ethereum are going to do very well. There is a reality that Ethereum has had a huge narrative shift over the past couple of years. Many people are viewing this as a store of value now. And look, I know lots of people that use Ethereum. I know I've used Ethereum sometimes in terms of swaps or whatever. Sometimes it's necessary. However, Ethereum is effectively the mothership, and the drones are the layer 2s. And the layer 2s are offloading all the work for Ethereum. And as time goes on, that's going to happen more and more and more, to the point that Ethereum really, really doesn't need to be used. So it becomes a store of value. I've seen people talking about Ethereum hitting 20 grand, 50 grand in this bull cycle. Firstly, there's no friggin' way it's hitting 50 grand. I think it's highly unlikely it's hitting 20 grand. But I do think there's a very good shout for 10 grand, 12 grand, maybe even 15, maybe 15. But once Ethereum's broken the $1 trillion market cap, the layering solutions, there is a good chance those layering solutions are going to be rallying up to 40 billion, 50 billion, 60, 100 billion market caps. And then Arbitrum, one of the strongest, has a real shot at that. And I think Arbitrum, there's a very, very valid argument that Arbitrum can run up to $10 in this bull cycle. The only issue might be the selling pressure that comes month on month on month on month on month. Don't forget, this is now a monthly unlock for the next 4 years. So 92.65 million are being unlocked every month now, year after year after year. So for the next 3 years or 4 years. So there's going to be selling pressure on a monthly basis, unless we're just in such a strong bull cycle that people aren't ready to sell. But sooner or later, they have to sell to bank profits. So it's just worth noting, if you're in Arbitrum, there's going to be selling pressure roughly the middle of every month. But I think there's a very good shout for this to hit $10. Very, very good shout, because you're not going to see the 10 billion unlocked until really like 2027. So yeah, I think $10. But let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think it can do more? Do you think I'm underestimating it? Let me know in the comments down below. And guys, if you want to make the same profits as me in this bull cycle, all you have to do is join up at copymycrypto.com. That's the site I run where I share with all my members the coins that I own. If you join today, you'd see my entire portfolio. When I find coins that I'm going to add to my portfolio, I let my members know. I let them know what the coin is, what price I'm buying, what percentage of my cash I'm putting in. There is no work for the members at all. When I sell a coin, I do the same thing. Now, if you go onto the site, you'll realize why there are thousands of members on Copy My Crypto. It's because of the profits they've made. Many of my members know nothing about crypto but making great money. If you go onto the site, you'll also see the things I've said in the past. You can also verify it all. It's all public record. If your portfolio isn't sorted, we're in a bull cycle, but we've got a bit of a pullback experience right now. So now is actually the time to start doing something about your portfolio. If you go onto the site, I think you'll realize it's a service you've got to try out, guys. Because once the market bounces back, we're going to see new all-time highs. And if you miss the boat on that, you're going to miss the profits. So have a look at the site, guys. And that's it from me. Have a good day. Bye-bye.